Yes, we're
Oh,
recording.
okay. Hello, and welcome to Wine, Whiskey, and Words. I'm Brad.
I'm. Wait, what?
I'm Daniel.
I'm confused. I think I'm Brad.
If you've listened to our podcast before, welcome back. We love repeat offenders.
I'm. I've been told I'm a repeat offender.
If you're new, each episode we try a drink. It may be wine, maybe whiskey, maybe something else. This week we've got a lovely wine. We talk about something interesting, just anything from our lives. It could be something mundane, could be something deep and profound, but we try to mix it up. And then we talk about a topic that we chose the episode before. We do our best to prep and research our topics, but sometimes we just wing it and have fun and aim for an interesting time. With that said, let's begin.
Okay.
So, a few episodes back, Brad brought a carmenere, which I had never even heard of a carmenere at the time, for us to try from Washington. So,
Yes. Yes.
yes,
It was from Lobo Hills,
and I absolutely loved it. I thought it was wonderful. I think Brad really enjoyed it as well,
and I have 6 more bottles
which I
coming.
love to hear. But I wanted to see if I actually like that variety or if it was just that particular one. So what I found was that most Carmenieres are from Chile these days.
Hmm.
I started doing some research, and apparently it's one of the six original Bordeaux grapes. Or reds. It was the Cabernet Sauvignon, Cab Franc, Merlot, Malbec, Petit Verdot, and the Carmenere. But in 1867, there was a plague or something like of locusts or bugs of some kind that wiped out all the Carmenere. Like France, just like you can almost not find it because something has happened with the climate, and the grapes won't turn into grapes. You get flowers, no grapes.
Hmm.
So it was actually presumed to be extinct for a while, and then it's in Chile. Uh,
They. I seem to remember they thought it was like a Malbec or something, and then they checked it out. I could be wrong on that, but they thought it was one grape, and then they discovered that it was Carmenere.
Yeah, so kind of a neat history, but again, right now you won't find this in France. The climate doesn't is not conducive to it turning into grapes. You get the vines, but you don't get the grapes. But Chile is where you're going to get most of your Carmenères from, and then obviously some in America. This one is called Primus. Primus is Latin for first among its peers, so I have high hopes. It's a 2020 Carmenere, and it is from Chile, from the Apalta Colchagua Valley. It's an organic, and all I could find about this particular vineyard was it was started 20 years ago by a guy named Augustin Hanius. But I'm looking forward to trying this. There's also apparently a Cabernet that's highly rated, but
I've had the Cabernet,
oh, okay.
although, yeah, and it was good, but it was like 10, 15 years ago
Oh,
that I
wow.
had it.
Okay.
I seem to remember getting quite a few bottles of it on clearance at, uh, what's that store? Oh, World Market,
Oh, yeah,
like a
that place.
while back.
Every once in a while, you can find something neat at
Yeah.
World Market that you can afford. But anyway, so the notes on this say it comes from vines with a southern exposure planted along I can't read this word, uh, but sustainable agriculture combined with Apalta's unique soils result in an elegant Carmenere with hints of black pepper, smooth tannins, and a long finish. So we're gonna pour this one out and give her a try. So as I pour this, it is very, very, very dark colored. You can see almost no light through it even as it pours, which I think we noted when we were trying the last Carmenere. We're using the fancy aerator that Brad gave me, called the Vintoin, Vino,
Vinatieri or something like that.
Venative.
Yeah.
So, okay,
Black cherry.
Oh yeah.
getting right away. Yeah.
I think it needs to open a little bit, but it's got a
Yeah.
kind of a smoky smell to it, and it layered on top of that black
It's
cherry.
kind of like, to me, I don't get as much like the smoke, but it's kind of like a mineral, like kind of concrete.
Hmm.
That kind of like a mineral reminds me
Yeah.
of.
I see what they mean about the black pepper. Um, it's got a little bit of a spiciness to the tannins. Hmm.
I definitely taste vanilla on the
Yeah.
back end. Off the bat, I like the other one more.
Oh, absolutely.
This is good, but I like the other one
The other
more.
one wowed me. This is, like I said, enjoy this, but I guess if you're gonna do a carmenere, get the one from Washington. Thank you, Lobo Hills. All right, let's let that one breathe a little bit, and we'll come back to it.
All right,
See what we think.
breathe on.
So, Brad, what has happened that was interesting to you since our last episode?
Um, well, it's been a little while now.
Yeah,
Um,
I made some poor eating decisions.
yeah. On my weight loss journey, I'm down like, I think, like 18 pounds
That's pretty
right
impressive.
now.
Like, it's only been a
Yeah,
couple weeks, it seems like. I mean, it's
it's
probably been
been
a month or so, but
a little bit. I think a little bit less than a month.
that's a
So,
solid progress, man.
so I haven't really lost anything in the last like 6 days, but I'm hoping. And I mean that happened. That happened at one point for like 4 days. I didn't lose anything. Then the next day I lost 2 pounds.
It's those
So
tub of lard donuts you bought the other day.
yeah, well, yeah, that I got to see my family on for Valentine's Day, so that was cool. Valentine's, Thanksgiving.
Wow, you don't know your
Jeez.
name. I don't know your
No,
name.
I don't know my name. I don't know the holiday, and
Where am I?
I think we're at Jamie's house.
So my something interesting is kind of fun. Apparently, Redmond, Washington, offered their citizens the opportunity to name their snowplows. They bought some snowplows, and
You named a snowplow?
they no, I did not name them, but the community grouped together and came up with some pretty fun and creative names for snowplows. I think anyway. One is Control Salt Delete. If you don't know, Redmond is where Microsoft is, so
Okay.
that's where that one comes from. Another name is Scoop Dog. Another one is Snow Be Gone Kenobi. Come on, Brad. These are funny. Funny name. Like Turd Ferguson. That's not what that's not one of the names.
No.
The Big Laplowski. I
All right,
particularly
I
like.
like that one.
Yeah.
I like that one.
And finally, Betty Whiteout.
Betty Whiteout?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that one was a
No.
reach.
No.
But I really like Control Salt Delete and the Big Laplowski. So I don't know.
All
I
right.
thought it was fun. I like those little happy stories that make you laugh a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, well, Brad, what was our topic last time?
Holiday traditions.
Oh, good. I guessed it right. I was working on my notes for this. I was like, I think that was the
I
topic.
should
And
have made up something else.
yeah, you should have. All right, Brad, tell me about one of your holiday traditions.
All right. Well, in case you didn't know, I'm a Jew.
You're Jewish?
I'm a Jewish princess. Um, so one of the things that we always did on Passover every year is, besides drink a lot of Manischewitz.
Is Passover the one with the lamp? Wasn't
You're
there a Jewish
thinking
thing?
of Aladdin. Uh, no,
No, there wasn't.
no, you're talking about the menorah. It's not a lamp. That's four candles on either side with one candle in the middle. That's Hanukkah. We'll get to that later.
All right.
It's not a
Go ahead.
lamp.
Go ahead. Sorry, continue.
All right. So Passover has to do with the crossing over of the Jews in from Egypt to Israel, and there's
Ah, the Charlton Heston movie, right?
I'm going to cut you. Okay,
Continue.
so there's a lot of stories that go on that are told over the in the Seder, which it depends on your family. It could last a half an hour, 45 minutes can last 2 hours. With mine, when I was younger, it went for generally about an hour. Then we did dinner, and then we ate it. Then we did the rest of the Seder. But my family is very competitive, and there's one thing that's like talks about an only kid and only kid. That's what it's called. But it's one of those things where it's kind of like the 12 nights Christmas,
Okay.
where it keeps expanding. And so my thing with the family is we would jump at the chance to to say the next one, and as fast as we possibly can. So like the very last part of it was, then came the Holy One, praised be He, and smote the angel of death, who slew the slaughterer, who killed the ox, that drank the water, that quenched the fire, that burned the stick, that beat the dog, that bit the cat, that ate the kid my father bought for 2 zim, an only kid, an only kid.
When you
That's the
say it
last.
like that, it's like it reminds me of that there was an old lady who swallowed a fly.
Yes, exactly. So, but it was always a competition, mainly mainly between my brother, myself, um, my mother, my aunt Robin. Those were, I think, the four main culprits who wanted to go as fast as freaking possible. So,
Okay.
yes. What about you?
Well, as I started thinking about holiday traditions, I kind of looked at like I don't I have this weird thing with traditions that I get them very tied to people and places if I let myself. And so my holiday traditions really centered around Thanksgiving and Christmas. And it's weird because I have like the old traditions and the new, because the people who had my youthful traditions have passed away and their houses are gone. So the things that made those holidays really big to me have departed. But I remember Thanksgiving in particular was always a big deal for me. My grandpa Pete, my mom's father, um, had this pretty large house on a lake, and he would just invite everybody, anybody who wanted to come or didn't have somewhere to come, or anybody in the family could come and bring friends and family. And at times we had to eat outside because there were so many people. And then over time, sometimes it was small. Sometimes it was very calm, everybody ate and left, and sometimes people stayed and ended up staying the night, and like the next morning would continue to party. So Thanksgiving was always an adventure. I remember the deviled eggs were a big deal. um, Everybody loved deviled eggs, and there would often be a fight over the last deviled egg that generally ended with a deviled egg being smashed in someone's hand as the person who was second to the deviled egg gave up and said scorched earth. But yeah, I don't know. Thanksgiving was a big one. This nowadays, my aunt Jill has continued to have the family Thanksgiving, and it's a smaller event. It's kind of out in the country. They have like a what's called a pole barn, which is basically like a big metal roofed pavilion. So we sit outside, and they set up a spread, and everybody just enjoys the holiday together. So I don't know. It's a simple tradition, but I have a lot of really like fond memories of Thanksgiving. My grandfather had canoes, and we would go canoeing sometimes, and I don't know. It was just a high point of the year back in the day.
Plus all the turkey.
Plus all the turkey. I mean, and there was so much food. Like, and people would just bring. Um, so often we had multiple turkeys, some smoked, some baked, some fried. There was always like my grandfather put like water chestnuts and stuffing, and oysters sometimes. Like he could be a little adventurous in his cooking. So there were some odd things.
Okay.
Anyway, all right. What you got next, Brad?
Well, first I want to go ahead, and we got some comments uh, on different postings that I made about this. So Michaela said, "We go to a movie every Thanksgiving. Matching pajamas for Christmas. Each family member gets a year to pick the theme." And Leah wrote putting up lights outside the house. That's her
Mm-hmm.
thing. And Lex said, my friend and I started a tradition of driving around to see Christmas lights with hot cocoa. Simple, but he moved to Portland and I can't wait for him to get back. We have favorite houses.
Oh,
Now, for me, this isn't necessarily holiday tradition, but I think there are certain like Jewish foods that we equate with holidays. Um, and this is so about 15, 17 years ago, my brother gave my grandmother a tape recorder. So she was already in her probably late 80s by then and had her record stories. So this is one of the stories that she recorded about my great grandmother, her mother, and the wood counters in the house.
okay.
My father was born in New York City. Grandma Minnie, she was only 17 when they got married. She made everybody happy. She was fun to be with, and everybody remembers her dancing and trying to make people laugh. One day, when Arthur and Dee Dee moved into the house that Dee Dee is still living in, when she came in, she saw the big counters, and she thought it was wood counters, and she used to bake, roll out dough on a big wood board. So she said, Arthur, I could make you good knishes here. So he says, I make them, Grandma. She says, go get me the potatoes and onions. And she set out and she baked them a batch of knishes. And we still talk about that to this day.
Yes. So they were not wood counters.
Well, that actually is kind of funny. You should bring that up because one of my traditions that I associate with Christmas is actually centered around food. When I was young, my mom would every Christmas morning, and I anytime I've ever been at her house on Christmas, I don't think there's been a year where we didn't have this. She made this breakfast casserole, and it was basically um, like an egg mixture with a layer of bread and sausage and cheese, and when you bake it up, it becomes this just wonderful casserole. Um, that's you know I will never not want this on Christmas. Nowadays, we've moved on from those traditions. I mean, Christmas back in the day was a big thing for us. We would get up in the morning. My sister and I would open presents. Mom and dad, we'd all, the four of us would sit around, and then we would have our breakfast casserole. And my grandpa Pete and his wife Eve my grandma Eve would come over, and we'd do presents with them. We'd all eat breakfast casserole, and then there'd be like kind of a lull where we just sat around and enjoyed having full bellies. And then we went to my mom's mother's house, where Paula and Ashley, um, my grandma Paula was so elegant and so refined. I mean, she probably taught Miss Manners how to put on a spread and teach, and be perfect. You would show up and there'd be eggnog and crab claws and these things called sauerkraut balls, which are sausage and sauerkraut oven roasted. They're amazing. Um, but we'd have this whole thing, and um, Christmas took all day. It was exhausting. You by the end of the day, you were just wiped out. But I don't know. Those are the things I remember about Christmas. Really, the breakfast casserole and the sauerkraut balls in particular. So it's kind of funny, like you said, the foods get us sometimes. Nowadays, Christmas is Jamie and I've started our own tradition of going on a Christmas cruise. We let other people drive us around and serve us. And I think we were in Mexico last Christmas.
And where is it going to be this Christmas?
This year, Mia is going with us. We are going to um, the private island for Royal Caribbean. We are going to
Labadee,
yes, and the Virgin Islands,
yeah. Okay,
St. Martin and St. Thomas, I think.
cool.
So yeah, pretty excited about it. It definitely takes the stress out of Christmas when you just get on a ship and let other people.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right, Brad, what else you got?
All right. So Alicia, a good friend of mine, I've known her for probably, goodness, at least about 17 years. She used to work for me over at Kay's. She said that, she didn't think that they had traditions, but the menu was all the same. So she keeps that tradition alive. And that being a new mom, her son now is about, I think, about 8, 9 months old. Um, she's excited to start some new traditions. And so far, she's started a customized book for him night before Christmas. And she's also trying to do a Christmas Eve box.
Oh, okay.
This young lady, Diane, said that her favorite was Passover. At one point, we had 35 people seated in the patio, and she still has video of it. And she used to cook everything, asking for nothing from anyone else. Then I got smart. So that young lady is my mother. So yeah. So there was I I remember probably once or twice of it being at the house. I remember a lot of the Passovers being at my grandparents' house, which was only like 2 blocks away from us. Um, what else was I gonna be? Oh, there are certain movies that we always have to watch, and I was I turned on my TV today and I saw one of them on, and so I had to immediately go to that station and watch it, and that is Scrooged.
Scrooged is a great film.
It's I love the speech at the very end, and I will not try to reenact that because it's Bill Murray, and no one can do Bill Murray but Bill Murray. Uh, and it made me think. Groundhog Day is a Christmas movie. It's around Groundhog Day, but
When
the
do you think
feel
Groundhog Day is?
the feel of it
I see what you mean.
the feel of it. If you go by feel alone, that's more of a Christmas movie
That's
than
fair.
Die Hard.
That's fair. Don't be dissing Die Hard.
Didn't diss out Die Hard. Didn't diss the quality of the movie. I almost watched that last night.
So another thing that has become one of the new Christmas season traditions for me is I think we've talked about our friend Clarence probably more than we should, and uh, I I've always loved the movie It's a Wonderful Life. I remember watching it often with my dad. It wasn't a tradition; it just would happen to be on, and we'd watch it. But since Clarence died, I pretty much every year, at some point around the Christmas holiday, watch that film, and by the end, Clarence the angel has me crying like a baby, and I watched it with Mia and Jamie one time, and they were like, "Are you okay? Do we need to stop this?" I was like, "No, it's okay." But
Daniel is a crier.
I am a crier. I do cry a lot. But yeah, like I said, that one has become a Christmas tradition. It's just I guess one of those ways I remember Clarence. He was a great guy. So, all right, got any other?
Pour one out for the homie.
Yeah.
No, not on.
Not.
No. Well, John, sorry if I mispronounced your name. Baumeister said, as a kid, opening one present on Christmas Eve. Sabrina Oven, I've known her, wow, I want to say probably about 30 years now from college. She says every year I took my children to a Christmas tree farm to find the perfect tree and cut it ourselves. In Tallahassee, we will work as elves at the annual Santa night. Each of my children participated, from grade school to high school. And Lisa Klug Lewis said, on Christmas Eve, I like to ride the St. Augustine trolley. It's not so busy that night. So, for me, I'm I'm a bit of a pyromaniac. I
Okay.
like I like fire. So I guess my Hanukkah tradition, that's where we had the menorah, not the lamp.
But wasn't there a lamp that inspired the menorah? Wasn't that the thing?
It lasted
But it was a
many
lamp,
well,
right? There was a lamp. I mean,
Daniel,
it wasn't like.
Daniel, shut up.
All right, fine.
So we would light the candles every night. So me being who I am, I'm like, well, I didn't want to light the candle because we needed those for the other night. So I would light the box on fire, and um, twice, twice, um, it burned a little bit too much. I think I left a mark in an area of the living room, and definitely left like a mark about that big. Oh, that was in that mark. I think was when I lit a plastic container that you got from those 25-cent machines where you had the toy
Oh
inside
yeah,
it.
those things were awesome.
So I lit that on fire and dropped it in my Superman aluminum trash can.
Oh,
And so it got very hot at the bottom and then burned a circular hole on the carpet.
I'm
So,
sure Mom was thrilled about
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I'm not sure if I blamed my brother, but
Well, I should hope you did.
it's that was always although I think he blamed me for stuff more than I blamed him. Although it's probably equal. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess I still wish I didn't really understand anything about Hanukkah until I was older. I do remember that my parents had like the plug-in light up menorahs as part of our Christmas decorations,
Okay.
which is kind of funny. But I had no idea until I was in high school that that had anything to do with
Right.
Hanukkah. Growing up on the west side of Jacksonville. Um,
Well, we had people on my block that eh, some people, when you have money, you just get stupid. And so they were Jewish, but they celebrated Hanukkah. They celebrated Christmas, mainly to give the kids more presents. They celebrated half birthdays.
Look, you only get a few holidays. Why not just take advantage of all of them?
Like every day is Brad Day. Buy me fucking gifts.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
if you can get away with it, make it work. Make it
No,
work
I'm
for
telling you, buy me more gifts.
Shut up, Brett. So, one of the weird holidays that I think a lot of people have a tradition around, or maybe they don't. I guess the country and the world has a tradition because they throw parties and light fires or fireworks and all, is New Year's Eve. And it's kind of weird for me because my birthday is January 1st. Buy me presents, Brad. Um,
I'll
and
get you something from Cooper's Hawk.
and you would think that I would have like some sort of tradition around that holiday being New Year's Eve and everybody throws a party. But honestly, I just never have. Like I know that like the world tends to, we got the ball drop and there, different cities have different things. Some of them have like the guitar drop and the cow drop or whatever they're dropping. There's always a countdown involved. And then everybody goes crazy and shoots fireworks and Happy New Year, blah blah
We
blah.
we went to a football game for your birthday one
Yep,
year.
we're not allowed to talk about that. Jamie has banned discussion of that particular event.
I'm just saying we went to
I
a
I ruined
football
it.
game.
Brad kept me from getting arrested that day. Apparently, my wife, she was not my wife at the time, was more than happy to pass me off to the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office.
Yeah. Well, I seem to remember. I think it was me and Dean that were carried you down.
Yes, and I am grateful for the rescue.
Yeah.
I'd probably still be laying in a seat at the stadium at this point.
He's only saying that because I still have pictures,
Yeah, he does.
and I've never shown those pictures to anyone because I just want to hold them over him just in case
Yeah,
I need them one day.
that's a trigger you can only pull once.
Yep.
Speaking of football, it's not really a tradition I like. I mean, I would go, but it is. I think it's a really great tradition. The Florida Georgia game is a
Yeah.
great it's a regional tradition, obviously, but the world's largest outdoor cocktail party is what they call it. And there's the night before. They have this RV city where everybody just parties all night, and then you get up the next morning and party all day until the game. Um, I think that's a fun tradition that's definitely regional and definitely I don't know that it's really just limited to those two teams. It's limited to the people who live in the region and those two and are fans of
Well,
those two
I
teams.
think it's done everywhere, but not to that level.
Yeah, like I said, there's a lot of fanfare. It's always in the same place. It's not like a home and away situation. I mean, it is. I guess there is always technically a home and away team, but it's always in the same place. So,
Yeah.
um,
So I also had Jose Prunet said one of his traditions is teaching the kids how to make traditional Puerto Rican food, and then he said my my 14-year-old is up, so I guess it's his turn to finally learn that.
okay.
I think that's the traditions that I had from everyone else. Um, I don't think I didn't have that many traditions. In most recent years, I would go to my friend um, Melissa and Brandon's house, or her mother's house for some holidays. It's just a beautiful family, just super nice people, and they would get together. Um, so I'm not sure what I'm gonna do this year for Christmas. I think Melissa she actually already texted me to see what I was doing, and I don't know. Maybe I'll head it on over to Jacksonville for the day.
Sounds like a plan. I would hang out with you, but I'll be in. I think we're in St. Martin that day.
Oh, what a shame!
Yeah. Although I picked the excursion, and I'm not sure it's. There's a beach on the island of St. Martin that is a topless beach, and
Oh,
I don't know which one
yeah,
it is. So like, I hope I didn't pick that one because it's going to be kind of
yeah.
weird.
For your sake, I hope you didn't pick
Yeah,
that one
yeah.
because Jamie will kick your.
Well, if she's not mad at me, I'm not trying. So,
Yeah.
something you said earlier, I don't remember who it was, but they talked about going to see movies on Thanksgiving. And something I realized this past Thanksgiving is when I was young, I remember the only thing open Thanksgiving evening was the movie theater. Like you could go to the gas station or you could go to the movie theater, and that was kind of it if you weren't just still hanging out with your family. So we did the movie thing a lot every Thanksgiving, and then there was this shift as like it wasn't enough to trample somebody else to get a TV Black Friday. You had to do it at 6 p.m. the night before and on Black Friday.
Yeah.
So the tradition became the Black Friday shopping at 6 p.m. So retail had to be open. And now we've seen this pendulum shift back away from that. So Jamie and I, we didn't plan to have food for Thanksgiving dinner because we did Thanksgiving sort of lunch in the afternoon, and we all started looking for food options, and nothing was open. We drove like 12 miles before we found something that wasn't a gas station or a Whataburger um,
Wow.
that we could get food. Actually, no, the Waffle House was open, but we didn't want Waffle House either. So, I know it sucks sometimes for people to have to work, but there were actually a lot of people who were like very glad they were working. Like we stopped at a gas station, and there was this lady that was very happy to be not with her family. And the people who worked on Thanksgiving, the ones I spoke to, were seemed happy about it. I guess because if they're the only show in town that's open, you can bring in some bank.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's all I got, man. I got no traditions.
Yeah, I think pretty much that's the extent of my traditions as well. Because and I think as we got older, we did less and less. I know that my mother always loved going out and checking out the Christmas lights. Um, there's nothing like a Jew looking at Christmas lights. But yeah. So
All right. Well, that brings us, I guess, to our next week's topic, and I have chosen just an amazing topic. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
it's
It's
super.
going to be the best topic ever.
Oh God.
What?
Best topic ever.
I mean, it's going to be up there. All right, fine. It'll be a topic. All right. So
All right.
the next topic for the next episode is places you've always wanted to visit and why, or events. We're gonna add or events. So if there's like a big event that happens every year, maybe not in the same place, but it's like something you've always wanted to go to.
Yeah.
Like Passover at Mom's.
There you go. There
Yeah.
you go. Or like, I think like Burning Man. That's a good, like, I could see how it can be so interesting, but I wouldn't want to be there.
Let's save it for next time.
All right.
We can talk all you want about it.
Fine.
All right. Any final thoughts you'd like to share with our listeners?
I'm finally glad I can fit into my fishbone shirt. This is a shirt I had ordered before, and then when it came in, it was a little bit tight on me.
Little extra medium there.
Little. Well, I mean, it was. This is like an extra large, but it was tight on me.
Yeah.
Before.
Well, like I said, you're slimming down, man.
Yeah.
You're slimming down.
I'm trying.
I'm not doing that. I have been running a little bit, but I'm not really slimming
Yeah,
down.
that's only because you keep pissing off Jamie.
Yep. Yeah. Chases me down the street, keeps me in shape. All right. Well, thank you for joining us. If you want to check us out in other places, check out, we are on Apple and Spotify podcasts. We are on YouTube. We have a website that is winewhiskeyandwords.com and an email address that is winewhiskeyandword with no S at gmail.com.
And also on Instagram and Facebook.
Yes. Brad is our social media expert.
Yes. But not on X.
Yeah, we don't do that. Yeah. We're anti-X. But we are we on Blue Sky yet? We should join Blue Sky.
I can.
Let's do it.
All right.
Let's do it. All right. Well, we hope you enjoyed this episode, and we look forward to talking at you the next episode. What do I usually say?
I don't know. Usually by this time I've had a few glasses of wine.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us, and have a great one.
L'chaim.